Hey guys, I'm Joshua Vidovic from Vidovic Arts, and welcome to part 2 of the tank building video. So if you haven't watched part 1 of this video, I advise you go check it out real quickly and then come back and watch this one, because in that video we actually see how to assemble the model itself. Now don't forget, this model is available on Thingiverse for free to download in the description below, so head over there and download one up for yourself and print one up and paint it and share it and watch this video. Alright, let's just carry on from the last video, shall we? Now what you could do is paint all the parts separately and then glue it together, but I don't know if you can see, there's a little bit of a gloss here. You could end up with a bit of too much glue overhanging, so if you want to paint it, I advise that you paint it fully assembled, just because you'll have a little bit more control when it comes to gluing it. Alright, let's put this aside and let's paint this guy. So, what colors are we going to use? I'm hoping to use War Flesh, that'll be the main green, and you know what, let's just stick with a plain War Flesh tank, that'll be fine. And for any metals, we'll be using the Lead Belcher. We've got the Rune Fang Steel for highlights. And we're going to be using a wash, being the Nuln Oil. So that's all I'm going to be really using. And we'll see how it looks. And if you wanted to add camouflage and stuff, you can look up whatever design you want and go for it. I'm going to use my big dirty brush for this. It is literally dirty. Let's get painting. I really need to work on my camera so it's not so shaky. If this camera angle is disgusting for you, let me know in the comments and I will try to come up with a better solution. I just thought this might be really cool for streaming, so hopefully we might have this kind of angle so I can talk to you guys while I stream and paint and work. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Alright, so we're just going to go and paint this guy green. Done. I think I will be adding some mud to this tank just to give it some more liveliness. Now if you want to fill in these gaps underneath here, you can get in with a finer brush. So I'm just going to use this brush. It's not the finest thing, but it does the job. And yeah, if you wanted to paint this before gluing it together, it's completely up to you. See, this is why I'm using this camera angle. I would not be able to record this any other way, not with ease anyway. So I think I might slap some mud on the back of this thing and on the tracks themselves. Now I'm thinking that this is a bit of a plain tank. I'm going to add a highlight, or I've got this Lauren Forest. The highlight for this is really awesome and it just comes out really awesome. I've actually painted an entire Tau army using this color right here, just how much I love that. While we're waiting on the green to dry, we may as well get some of the silver going. Now I'm just going to do that quick run over the top of it, trying to get paint on the brush but not have it completely globbed in one spot. So all I'm going to do here is pretty much just brush over like that. And we can do the same for the actual tracks if we want to. I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm going to be shoving some mud into this just to give it a little bit more liveliness. So let's do a little test here. Let's see what this looks like. I really like it. I'm going to go with that green as my highlight over the top. I'm kind of stippling the paint across. Now this is the most exposed section of metal, so we want it to look kind of not scratched on or painted on with a massive paintbrush, considering it's a mini. I'm just going to kind of stipple it all over. There we go. Now I think I'm going to go in with an extra highlight on top of this highlight, and that is going to be Elysian Green as my final highlight on the top of everything. Alright, so I'm going to just pretty much highlight any kind of edges that are sticking out for this paint right here, and I'm really doing it rough. And I will be going over the top of this with some scratches and stuff like that. Now you could paint every single one of these bolts a silver or something like that if you wanted to. I'm really excited to have this tank be this quick. Be able to, you could just add this to an army in over the weekend. You could add maybe 2 or 3 tanks if you're really committed to it. And I really can't wait to see what you guys paint, because I know for a fact that these would look amazing with some camouflage schemes going on. Alright, there we go. I'm definitely happy with that. Not going to add too much more. I keep adding more. Alright, now let's go back to the lead belcher. I keep calling it goddamn bolt gun metal. Change it back. Change it back to bolt gun metal so I don't sound so silly. Alright. Now I'm going to add the lead belcher to the back and this engine compartment here. Just pretty much going to slap it on. And don't worry if you're filling in all those gaps. We're going to be using the Nuln oil, which will bring those gaps back. Now I want to add in scratches and stuff as well, scuff marks. So where would they be? I don't know. Kind of just guess. Possibly around areas where people would have most access to, which would be, you know, around the section where people would bring in and out of the tank, like ammunition, possibly at the front of the barrel, who knows, just little scratch marks. The more you add, the older the tank will look, or the more used it'll look, so you don't want to go over the top. You don't even have to do this part if you don't want to. I just like it because it makes it look more metal. Alright. I'm happy with how it's looking. Let's do the near final stage here. That is the Nuln oil. This stuff is fantastic. So I'm going to start with this back piece first. I'm just going to slap it in and pretty much just let it sit. Like so. You don't want to go crazy with this stuff. As awesome as it is, you can put too much on. But it's good to apply to things that would have grease of some kind, because it comes out like an oil, because it's Nuln oil. So it's okay to add it to bits that you think might get greasy, or you want to get those holes looking darker, like the back of this. Yeah. And I honestly think this Nuln oil was made for metals, because it comes out amazing when you add it on to this metal stuff. That's looking alright. I'm happy with that. I'm just going to wash my brush. And now I'm going to add mud. So I've actually made a batch of mud up here. It's the filler. So in a previous video, I will make another video where I just make this alone. It's pretty much just normal filler. So it's a plaster that you use on walls and you fill in the holes. And all I've done is added a brown and a black paint, just like this stuff. So nothing expensive. And I've mixed it all together and I've put some sand in there. Now you have to make sure that this thing isn't full, because the more paint you add, the more it's going to overflow. So I kind of did it when it was half full. And as you can see, it just looks like, well, you can use your imagination as to what it looks like. But it works a treat. So here it is on the end of the stick. You can see how it's going to dry. And it stays wet pretty much forever, because it's plaster, and as long as you have that lid on, it'll stay like that. So I'm going to be slapping this stuff on the tracks. So I assume that mud would congeal at the back of the tracks here the most. So it would flick up and it would go all over the back of this thing. It doesn't matter right now that it's just 2 blotches. I'll come back and fix that. If you don't have this by any chance, you can actually get a really good Citadel paint, Stirland mud. So Stirland mud this is pretty much Stirland mud. It's just, if you want to make really huge amounts like terrain making, then I advise you make your own, just because it can get pretty damn expensive buying Stirland mud every so often. But if it's just for a once-off model or just a couple of models, then it's fantastic. really want to muddy these tracks up. See if I can ring this through. Oh, I actually flicked mud at myself. So yeah, because these were blotches, if I get rid of some of this, I can actually go back and flatten it out, like that. But the more you have on your, whatever tool you're using, the harder it is to move around. Now you don't have to do this step at all. You could just leave it like this if you wanted to. But I think it's always nice to have a bit of texture here and there. I may have gone overboard a bit, but I don't care. It's my model, I can do what I want. And you'll be able to do exactly the same. All you gotta do is print it out. Now that we've got that done, just clean the mud that flicked at me. Now for the sake of time constraints, I'm not gonna be able to paint the highlights on the mud, but I would strongly advise you wait for this to dry, and then you can add some highlights on top of that mud, or even add a bit of a Nuln oil or this substitute right here, Agrax Earthshade, which is perfect for filling in those little gaps between the sand. And yeah, you might not even have to add the highlights. But it does come down to what kind of color you make that paint, or what kind of paint you use in general for the mud. But hell, is that not cool? Or what? Now I'd really love to see you guys paint this up in any kind of color scheme. You could easily convert this for some of your Warhammer models, or use it just for bolt action. I'm kind of wanting to make my own little set of models here, so yeah, there's going to be more tanks coming. There will be more coming. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of that camera angle. If it sucks, I really want to know early on. I want to kind of just get that overhead angle. I might have to set up a camera just above somehow. I'm just gonna have to work it out. But yeah, I'd love to get streaming again sometime, and in the streams I'll be painting more, so I don't have to do these kind of videos. And yeah, if you did enjoy that video, leave a like and let me know what you thought about it. Really let me know what you thought about it, because I want to know if it was any good. I have already done another video with this camera angle, so if it sucks, sorry, there's one more video coming. But I'll make sure I change it next time after that. If you want to download this, head over to Thingiverse in the description below and get one for yourself and paint one up. And make sure you post the make over there on that download link, because I want to see what you guys print up and paint up. So that's it. If you want to support me further, don't forget to head over to Patreon and pledge a couple dollars per video. You don't have to, but it helps me out a ton to be able to afford materials and paints. These paints are damn expensive, but they're goddamn good. Alright, so that's it. I'll catch you guys around. See ya.